Hello, welcome in. In celebration of Black History Month, Carnegie Center for Art and History, a branch of the Floyd County Library, is participating in a National African American Read-In. What is African American Read-In? During the month of February, schools, churches, libraries, bookstores, community, and professional organizations and interested citizens are urged to make literacy a significant part of Black History Month by hosting an African American Read-In. Hosting this event will be spoken word artist KennyFresh, and the event will include featured readers such as Deedee Cummings. Deedee will be sharing some of her latest works from her series Kayla, a Modern Day Princess. At around 11:45, we will be having an open mic portion where the audience is encouraged to both listen and participate by reading short excerpts by African American authors. Selection should be 2 to 3 minutes long and can be living or deceased authors. Works of fiction and nonfiction are encouraged for this all ages audience. But for now, I want to let KennyFresh and Deedee introduce themselves. We ask the audience to mute your mics until we reach the open mic portion. If you would like to participate, please enter your name in the chat, and I will call your names out in the order they appear. And if you have any questions, please put those in the chat as well. Please welcome KennyFresh and Deedee Cummings.
What's up, everybody? Super happy to be here. Like Shamia said, I'm Kenneth Woods. I go by the stage name KennyFresh. I've been performing for just over a decade. I got my start in the Louisville art scene, and over the last year or so, I've been really focusing on Indiana. Recently, as of 2020, I released my first chapbook of poetry, Equilibrium, working on getting that in different libraries. And so just been doing a bunch of virtual events, and I'm super excited to read and perform some of my own original spoken word. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. Deedee?
Thanks so much. And I appreciate you all having me. This isn't my first time doing this with the Carnegie History and Art Museum, and I've always enjoyed it. I can't wait till we can get back and do this in person, because it's really a wonderful event when all of these members from all different backgrounds of the community come together, and it's almost prayerful and meditative, just everyone in a room reading together. I think it's so neat. So I appreciate you welcoming me back again this year. I am a local author. I live in Louisville, Kentucky. And Kenny just asked how long have I been writing. I've been writing since 2014, and I had a full career before I started writing. So it's never too late. You're never too old to start a new career. And I love writing. I focus all of my writing on therapeutic coping skills. That's actually how I started writing, because I work with children in therapy and we write their stories. And I realized how therapeutic that could be for me also. And I focus my writing also on diverse characters. Black children have an easier time going to the library or the bookstore and finding a book with an animal or an inanimate object as the lead character than they do finding a story with a character who reflects anything that they look like or their experiences. So all of the books I write feature diverse characters so that children are able to see themselves in a book. And thank you again for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and kick things off and get started. I'm really excited about this. This is my first time doing African American Read-In. I had never heard of it until this year, and it's really cool. It started in 1990, like Shamia said. And I'm really excited because this is a time to highlight literature by African American authors. And actually, I wrote a blog about that. That's something I've been trying to do, is read a lot more works by Black authors. And then I'm stepping it up another level this year. I want to read more works from Black women. I realized last year I read like 13 books, so it's almost a book a month. And only 1 or 2 of them were like not Black. And then I realized, but the majority of them were by Black men. So this year I want to read and buy more books from Black women. So that's like a personal goal I'm setting for this year. And so I wrote a blog about it. It's on my website. It's called Blackening Up My Bookshelf. I wrote that January of this year. And I'll throw a link in the chat. But yeah. So we're about to get into it. I got 4 poems for you guys. Then I'll be out your way. What I like to do is I perform my poems and then give a little story behind it, and then I go to the next one. So that's how I do it. This first one is called Art Makes Home, and it goes like this. Your name is your name. Gifted by your parents, it's your announcement to the world, I am here. In all your splendor and glory, the name you wear tells a part of your story. Chords strike in harmony as your native tongue pegs strokes upon a canvas most won't understand. The music you make comforts others and upsets a few, but what can they expect when heritage is your muse? You are your ancestors' dreams given wings. You flew to another country, a whole new hemisphere, with your roots still intact. Your motherland gave you nourishment for the journey. Inside you lies the ability to thrive in strange soil. As you walk this path freshly paved, never forget from whence the foundation was laid. Home is where your heartbeat settles into its regular rhythm. You knew your streets and your streets knew you. But here in this new space, this unfamiliar home, your heartbeat pounds at an irregular pace. Over time, it will slow and beat steady. Life isn't easy. You don't expect it to be. There is still room in this country for the refugee. There is a bed for the rest you seek. Home is the place that lets you sleep. A space for comfort and healing. These four walls give you something to believe in. So believe them. You are home. That's the first piece, Art Makes Home. I wrote that, I think it was 2021 for Kentucky Refugee Ministries. They celebrated 30 years of helping refugees from across the world resettle in Louisville. And so I wrote that piece. They had a whole celebration called Art Makes Home. So I just named it Art Makes Home, and I really wanted to speak to that. I've never been a refugee, but for those who don't know, I was born in Hawaii and I moved around majority of my life. So like I lived in Hawaii, brother and sister born in California, lived in Texas where my dad's side of the family's from, Florida for a few years, and then we've been up in Indiana. This is the longest I've lived anywhere. Been up here since 2006. First time I saw snowfall, 2006. I was like, I stood out in it for like 20 minutes, watched it fall. So that's so I was able to use my background of traveling a lot to kind of understand what it means to uproot and have to find a new home. So that is the first piece. I really like it. It's definitely becoming a fast favorite of mine. This next one is called Protagonist. And I wrote it's spelled like pro, the word tagging, Taggin, this, and I wrote it like that. So if you say it fast enough, it's like protagonist. It sounds like the main character. So here we go. Sometimes the hero dies. Sometimes you don't get the glory. I've been watching anime with my daughter. I watch her watch the screen, seeing jaw drop, her color the hue of astonishment. These characters nearly squeezed eye water from the well of her empathy. She swam in the denial of the death of a main character. But he's in the opening theme, she persists. Ain't that how it go? Those who start ain't always there when the credits roll. Take a gander when the season concludes. Who is still standing? Shorty, sometimes that plot armor ain't thick enough. Then weapons formed from the forge of life look like they almost finna prosper. Them story arcs be hard on a protagonist. Why? This character development requires some death with it. Training ain't as fun as Goku makes it look. We the star of our own saga, but a sideline support character and others. Know your role. Don't be surprised when you start to get less screen time in others' lives. This is always darkest before the sun shows up. Yes, at times the story can be predictable. The villain shows up when it's most critical, but unlike Anime Munchkin, you don't have to announce your moves. Just do, execute, and follow through, even if nobody else follows you. Yeah, sometimes the hero dies, but the one thing the hero doesn't do is never not try. This life is a story, no matter how you see it, whether from left to right or right to left, please keep reading. So that is the second piece, Protagonist. During fall break for my daughter, she's in middle school. We just kind of binged anime, and I wanted to write about that. I was trying to figure out what to write about. Like, what did I do last week? And I'm like, oh, I just watched anime with my daughter, and I just wrote a poem about it. And I included that in this because, you know, Black people like anime too. Like, so we're not a monolith. Like, there's a lot of Black cosplayers. There's a whole term called blurred, which is Black nerd. And like, there's a whole community of people in the African American diaspora that love anime. And I kind of wanted to write about that and kind of equate anime to life and how there's a big correlation there. So yeah, so that is Protagonist. This next piece is called Meticulous. I really like this. I wrote this back in, like, I don't know, 2013, 2014, and it's kind of one of my usuals that I do. So here we go. Never underestimate the power of your words. You see, we live in the age of word count. Every syllable is tallied and held in record, so you best make your words count, because life and death are in the power of the tongue, and I see some of you were still doubtful. Just think about all the lives lost as a result of cyberbullying. With a click of a mouse and some typed letter, souls are crushed and hope is fettered. There's too much going on in this world, so I can't keep wasting words. So many of us believe we're made in the image of God, but we fail to realize that just as his words give life, ours have the same effect. And no, we may not be able to bring planets into existence with our words, but our words shape the world around us. You see, your words create your world. What you breathe into existence will be the framework for the portrait that your life will be painted in. This is why complaints are nothing more than ink blots on a freshly printed page. They take the focus off the words, and in some cases, hide a part of the story. That's why every word that I spit is handpicked. It was carefully considered and cautiously critiqued, because while I'm whispering sweet nothings in y'all's ear, there was someone outside literally dying to hear words like, hello, what's your name? You matter, or the most dangerous word in the world, love. So as you can see, I'm as tight with my words as a customer calculating how much tip to leave. Should I give 15 or 20%? How much to speak if I am able? Because just like them, I can't afford to leave too much laying on the table. There's too much vernacular manslaughter, reckless endangerment with verbs, too many poor souls serving life from the damage of words served. And would that we all thought twice and aim to aspire adjectives of death and to a liturgical literacy of life. Because I've seen firsthand the strife that comes from wanton run-on sentences, not structured in tact and decency. And recently, it seems like we've forgotten how to communicate. But I'm not perfect, so I won't cast a stone. Rather, I will build. I use my tongue to paint beautiful pictures in light of the sun, in light of who I like to become. But it all starts with me, and in time translates to we. And this is not to preach to you, rather, this is to reach to you. So let every said syllable sound of sincere structure, not settling for sombering stagnant sentences of servitude. So in short, words matter. Be meticulous. So that is that piece. It's a favorite. I like talking about the power of words. I believe that the words we use for others are important, and the words we use for ourselves is equally important. So that's what that piece is about. It's actually in my book, Equilibrium. And so Equilibrium is just really all about balance. And so I felt like Meticulous fit in with that theme of balance. So my last poem, before I pass it over to Deedee, my last poem is called Just Imagine. May of last year, I collaborated with the Kentuckians for the Commonwealth. They had a virtual art show, and their theme was Just Imagine, where you had a prompt that you could write from. And the prompt that I chose was imagine the relationship with the environment, Black people's relationship with the environment, if it wasn't for the scarcity mindset that is a result of white supremacy. So I was like, okay, so like just imagine, because a lot of times we're talking about Black history, sometimes African-American authors and creatives, we're kind of stingy with information opportunities because we don't know when we'll get the next one, right? Because it's the opportunities are few and far in between. And so that scarcity is really a mindset that comes from as a result of white supremacy, like the whole crab in a barrel, like, but who built the barrel, right? So that's kind of what this poem is talking about, and it's called Just Imagine. And if you like it, I think the Carnegie Center shared it earlier this week. And the Meticulous poem, I collaborated with them to do a special video for MLK Day, and I did like 4 poems. You can check that out on the Carnegie Center's YouTube channel. So run that mug up. I think it's got like maybe 100 views. So check that. Yeah, no, check that out, and get them views up for them, because it was really fun. We shot some of it, the footage on site, some of it in the studio space. So yeah, Just Imagine. And I like ending with this because I like to end on a positive note. So I'll end a note of hope. So here we go. Just imagine not having to wage war on poverty because we paid our workers properly, a living wage with more life in our days. Imagine a world where Blacks didn't have to beg for scraps. Position below a table we were never invited to, praying for food to fall from plates not designed for us to eat from. No more mouths open wide, begging for opportunities to be placed inside, but instead force-fed to fill up on not nows and just waits. It would be normal not to see white bread as the optimal, with the cusp cut off, so as to save that bleached flour from contact with anything the shade of brown. Imagine a world with wheat, pumpernickel, and rye in America with no choice but to swallow this dark bread with grains as coarse as the natural hair many ask to touch. No longer we have to wonder how much of ourselves could we be. Leave our white voice dead in the streets. It would be an example of how nature's best isn't white bread. An example of how nature's best isn't white bread. The freedom to use words like ain't, finna, and lit during meetings, stringing together words and phrases only we know. Chad would ask where the money reside, and we would say nothing, or hint what Coy replies. Urban Dictionary may become required reading. Imagine the arrogance to look our counterparts in the eye and say, we ain't come here, but we sure ain't leaving. No more insults like Uncle Tom or Coon because there's nobody left to sell out to. As we wipe away the blemishes of supremacy, how would it feel to be finally free? The long-awaited fulfillment to an ancient prophecy. No longer inhale, we can breathe out now. Don't mind me, I'm just dreaming out loud. Thank you. My name is Kenneth Woods. Go by the stage name KennyFresh. I'll leave my links and stuff in the chat. Deedee, the floor is all yours.
That was absolutely amazing. I have goosebumps. I mean, that was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing those words with us, and how inspiring. And the work of your poems crosses over into my work with the talk about the protagonist. That's exactly what I hope my children's books will do, will give children hope that they're not going to die in the first scene, that it's not over for them. So I would love to share with you all today this new series I have. I've actually written 20 books, 15 are currently published, and the next 5 will be coming out over this year and in 2023. But my latest project is this series of books called Kayla, A Modern Day Princess. And what is so neat about this, well, there's many things that are neat about it. One is you can see just how beautiful the covers are. I'm a Black author. My illustrator is a Black artist, and the series is inspired by another Black artist, my daughter, Kayla Pecchione, who graduated from Youth Performing Arts School here in Louisville and is now on Broadway. She's a Broadway actress, and we couldn't be more proud of her. And this is the series I wrote and dedicated to her life. I'm also in the process of attempting to turn this series into its own Broadway show, and I have a concept program here that I made that gives a little bit of detail about what a show like this would look like. But I wanted to show you all this image in particular. This is my daughter in the middle, and these are our little girls who I hope to inspire and know that nothing is off limits. There was a study done just a few years ago where little girls were asked about princesses and what they look like. And it's one thing for white children to believe that Black children can't be royalty, but I think it's even more heartbreaking when Black children believe that they can't be royalty. So in this study, Black girls said that they did not believe that little Black girls could be royal or could be princesses because it's just not something that they typically get to see. Before I read my books, I just want to remind everybody to please support local authors and local artists like Kenny every day of the year. It's great that we have this celebration this month in honor of Black History Month and the African American Read-In, but every day of the year, local artists and especially Black artists need your help amplifying their voices. We also, at Makeaway Media, we coordinate the Louisville Book Festival, and it's the book festival's for everyone, but we seek to amplify diverse voices at the book festival also. One last thing before I read from my books, we just started something called the K Club. So if you go on the makeawaymedia.com website and look for information about this series, and then there's a tab for K Club, click on that tab and sign up for the K Club. We send out free activities and therapeutic tips every month, one time a month. We don't spam you, we don't sell your email. So sign up for the K Club, because little kids today need all of the positivity and hope that they can get, and the K Club helps children with that. This is the final book in the series called Kayla, a Modern Day Princess, and the subtitle for this book is A Little Magic. And I love all of the illustrations in all the books. Charlene Mosley is an immensely talented artist. But I love this one. It's a flashback scene. And Kayla in this final book is inspiring one of her friends to follow their dreams, no matter what other people say. It's interesting, but people always seem to have a lot to say about our dreams and whether we can pursue them and how we should pursue them. So I love this imagery because Kayla is referring back in a flashback to something that her grandmother went through, and she tells her friend that the exact same thing happened to her grandma. She was the first Black girl to go to her high school. People were really awful to her, but it got better over time, and she took comfort in knowing that being a Black student in that school would make it easier for those who came after her. She knew she had to be brave and blaze the trail, and then she reminds her friend that her friend is also a trailblazer. So hold on to that hope. Anytime that you're doing something different, people are going to tell you that you can't. But you hold on to the hope that you're doing the right thing, and that just because no one else has ever done it doesn't mean that you cannot. You'll be the first. So I would like to read a little bit longer passage from number 4 in the series called These Shoes Are Made for Dancing. And this is probably one of my favorite pictures from the series because it kind of reminds me of ancestors, how these butterflies come together to make her skirt, and kind of, I feel like it gives her wings so that not only is she dancing, but she's flying. And it just reminds me of an image you might see when people are talking about all of the ancestors who come and help aid you in your journey and give you wings so you can fly. So I'll read a little bit more from this passage. This is Kayla putting her shoes on after dance class. Her mother says to Kayla, "Everyone is built differently. You don't look like what people are used to seeing about a ballet dancer look like, but I have faith in you. Faith and hard work will carry you to places in a way that nothing else can." But Kayla's mother ends up having enough. Kayla's mother's trying to tell her to be patient and to work hard, and she'll be recognized. But one day her mother just gets tired of talking and goes to talk to the studio director. When Kayla saw her mom walk into the studio that day, she knew there was something different about her mother's walk. Kayla's mother asked to speak with the teacher privately, but Kayla could still overhear the conversation. Her mom told the teacher that every child in the dance studio had a turn to dance in the front row, but this chance never seemed to come for Kayla. She was never even in the second row. Kayla was always in the back, her mom pointed out. Kayla thought, "I noticed this too, but I just thought there was something wrong with the way I dance." The teacher replied that parents often feel that their child is the prettiest and the best, but this is just not always the case. Kayla's mom said, "This is not about me thinking my daughter is the cutest. That this is about how hard my daughter has worked, and she is still not given the same opportunities as everyone else in the class." The office door flew open and Kayla's mom strode out. She extended her hand and said to Kayla, "Grab your shoes. We are leaving." In the car, Kayla's mother said, "I know I cannot be a part of everything that happens during your day, but you have to tell me when people are not treating you right. Kayla was confused because she had always been told not to tattle, not to complain, and never to whine. She had been taught to make the best of all situations. When she shared this thought with her mom explained, "No, this is different. No one should ever make you feel like you do not have the same opportunities as everyone else. No one should make you feel like you are not equal. I know how hard you have worked, yet they still will not give you a chance. They will not even let you try. They will not allow you to show them what you can do, and I cannot allow you to be in a place where they won't even give you a chance." Together, Kayla and her mom found a different studio, one that celebrated the students for what they could do instead of pointing out what they could not do. Kayla instantly felt like she was at home in the new studio, so much so that her best friend Tommy wanted to come too. The next time Kayla arrived at dance class, she reached into her bag and found a box with a note. "My Princess Kayla, don't ever be afraid to walk away, or in your case, to dance away. I wish I could be there to see you with your new start, but I know you're going to show them what you got. Love, Mom." So that's just a little excerpt from the book that shows how still to this day, a lot of times opportunities aren't denied in such a way that we can put a finger on it and say that it's obviously someone treating us differently. Sometimes it's just a feeling you get that something is not right. And we need to teach children that a lot of times if it doesn't feel right, it's probably not right. And there's a difference between standing up for yourself and tattling. As we often tell children, don't tattle, don't complain, don't whine, suck it up. But we also need to teach children to listen to their gut and to know when something obviously doesn't feel right. So I hope you all enjoyed this reading today. These books are available on my website, makeawaymedia.com. I also have them all on Amazon. They're beautiful books. I always feel crazy saying that because I know that I wrote them, but they really are beautiful books. I hear that consistently. And another thing you can do to help out local authors is you can just download one of their ebooks, which are usually really cheap. Mine are like $1.99, $2.99. Download an ebook on Amazon and leave a review. That's a very, very small thing that you can do that goes a long way to help authors. Again, I want to thank you all for having me today, and I hope you enjoyed seeing these books.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Thank you.
I think we're getting ready to get into the open mic portion, but I also wanted to piggyback on what Deedee just said. Very powerful. And I forgot I got ebooks too. I really forgot because I went through, you go through so much to put them out there, the electronic version, and sometimes people still don't get them. So that is important. Another thing you can do to help out local authors is buy the book directly from the author. Deedee has her books available on her website. My book is available on my website. I threw it in the chat because I know it's so easy to buy from Amazon. Like most people make their books available on Amazon, but the reality is a lot of times it takes a while for that money to reach them. So if you want to directly impact your local economy, purchase directly from the author. So I don't know about Deedee, but somebody buys my book from Amazon, the money might come in 3 months. It's kind of like music. Like people think, oh, I bought this, like, yeah, that's cool, but they won't get the money for 3 months. So if somebody, if authors have the service that you want, just purchase from them directly. The others for convenience, but purchase from them directly. So awesome stuff. Awesome stuff, Deedee. All right, Shamia.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are going to go ahead and get into our open mic portion. Thank y'all for sharing your readings. It was really inspiring. And so first we have in the chat Chantrice. So if you would like to go.
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Hi, everybody. This is my first event with Carnegie. So thank you. I'm not even sure who invited me, but thank you very much. And I thought it was dope with you sharing your story about your daughter and like having all Black influence with you, the author, the inspiration. So yeah, that makes me excited as someone who finished writing my book a year ago and still hasn't done anything with it. So thank you so much for that. And then Kenneth, I think I saw you perform at I work at KFTC. So I think I saw you perform. So yeah, it's good to see you again. So this piece, this is one of my pieces. It's really old and it's the only one I have memorized. And although I wrote it in college, so I'm almost 40, so college was a while ago, I feel like it still has relevance today. America is where lives are destroyed and innocence is ripped from children like a potential life from my womb. As I step in the building, I sit and contemplate the absence of yet another father. Other blank souls are gliding by, seem not to even be bothered. Every corner, another statistic. My brothers are gone in an instant. We fall asleep, the broken bridles crashing off in the distance. The sun sets over this desolate breeding ground for disease as we suffocate from the enveloping poverty on our knees, wondering how we can breathe in these cell-like rooms. They close in the project so you can get used to your tunes, encasing impossible odds with irreconcilable circumstances, circumventing freedom, all while the devil's dancing, not just in the pale blue light, but mostly in the daytime, fighting for positions of power, leaving inferior states of mind. When will it be our turn to rise from the ashes? A constant state of incarceration is all that flashes. A slave mentality battling against death and destruction. Welcome to my hood. And see, here's your instructions. The slightest hint of intellect will incite riots of insults. Relax your mind and remain blind while you smoke that endo. No window for opportunity, so keep your mind shut. Push poison to your people so they remain stuck. Allow the government to corrupt us by staying ignorant. Spread that white like a blanket and never repent. Hit a different chick every night so you hurt someone's daughter. Sell your own mother dope and don't be bothered. Father fields of children who will continue the cycle and teach them nothing more than what time to watch American Idol. Slide away from responsibility, fulfilling the prophecy of Willie Lynch's letter supporting the monopoly and control they have over this perpetual matrix and damage everything our ancestors ever held sacred. But wait, see, my people are great. We done made it through slavery and broken commitments, witnessed and witless, sinister women get neglected, diminished men hitting me, tripping, getting bill collection notices. Hoping my check will stretch past gas and electric. I'm rolling with a flow. Crazy like Israeli troops justification of genocidal extermination. My anger is latent. I want to know my father, so my heart is hurting, but I'll never give up. Even when my condition worsens, my mission is for certain. And now I fear no lies, so I'ma lay down my burdens by the riverside. Yo no soy el uno, usted quiere joder con cuando hablo. My roof get blown. My mother 200 years ago was hurt with a knife. Great-grandfather Alonzo Wells got beat for his rights. And since we've been through all that and we still here breathing, I know my life has a purpose, a mission, a reason. That's it.
Wow, thank you so much.
That was amazing.
Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go. Let's go. First of all, I have a question.
You need to do something with that.
Yes, for sure. Like there's way too many open mics in this in the Louisville area for you not to be like attached if you're not already. If you are.
So this is the thing. Lance G. Newman invites me all the time, and I just like I haven't performed period in like maybe 3 years. I think I can't even remember the last time I performed.
I can't tell.
Thank you. And it's crazy because I used to do it all the time when I lived in DC, like multiple times a week. So since I've been back in Kentucky, I just haven't. But also, as soon as I moved back, it was a pandemic. So I don't think I've done it that I can remember. It's been at least 2 years. So yeah, thank you.
I have a question for you. Did you make a Batman reference in there? Because you said the devil dancing. Look, I just watched Batman. I just watched Batman. I kid you not. I just watched it like Monday or Tuesday. So that whole "Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moon?" Like that was fresh in my mind. So like, look, I'm telling you, I caught it. I caught what you was laying down. I'm like, yo, that's dope. That's
like people catch a lot, but like usually people are like, oh wow, you said Spanish. Oh wow, there's like lyrics to a gospel song. Blah blah. No one catches that, and that's one of my favorite movies. And Prince did the soundtrack for that Batman.
Yes.
And after I feel like after Prince stopped doing the soundtrack, the Batman movies got like progressively terrible.
Well, Batman Returns is my personal favorite, but I'm watching them in order. Like they're on Hulu now. So I just watched Batman on Hulu. So when you said like I literally like Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm like, yo. I just like, I'm like, you're not just gonna slide that in there and keep going like you didn't just say what you said. But that's amazing, Chantrice. I hope to hear more from you. Throw your social in the chat so we can follow you. and invite
Okay,
you out.
it's so it's Chata Noir, but don't be surprised to see zero poetry because I have nothing up related to that. I'm still getting my IG life together. So I appreciate any follows and all that. It's Chata Noir all over social media.
Can you type that in the chat? Throw that in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's IG, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, Reddit, even though I don't know how to use Reddit yet, but they told me that's where the people with money are, so I made one anyway.
Dope. All right, Chantrice, we're gonna move on to our next. Who we got next, Shamia?
We have next Delisha, but I wanted to, so we had some new people enter in. I wanted to reiterate that we are recording, and that if you do want to go next in the open mic portion, please enter your name in the chat. And also feel free to enter in questions in the chat too. If we have time at the end, we will get to those questions. So please welcome Delisha.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Oh, hello. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So I'm going to do a poem by County Cullen, which has become my favorite one, called Hey Black Child. Hey Black child, do you know who you are, who you really are? Do you know you can be what you want to be if you try to be what you can be? Hey Black child, do you know where you're going, where you're really going? Do you know you can learn what you want to learn if you try to learn what you can learn? Hey Black child, do you know you are strong? I mean, really strong? Do you know you can do what you want to do if you try to do what you can do? Hey, Black child, be what you can be. Learn what you must learn, and tomorrow your nation will be what you want it to be. Thank you.
So much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That was dope. Awesome. That's a good one.
Yeah, I think it resonates very well. It says a lot, and our kids today need so much positivity. So that's one of my poems that I've enjoyed. And I taught my little granddaughter back when she was 3. So she's recited it at church and some other things. So that's just been something that I thought would be helpful. And I have to show her the recording that I did her poem that she always does. So thank you, Kenneth.
No problem. Any questions or any other volunteers? Like you don't have to volunteer if you don't feel comfortable. It takes a lot to just even virtually get on here and pour your heart and pour your soul out. But we also have questions. If you have questions about how Deedee does what she does, how I do what I do, or even some questions for the Carnegie Center, because they're a really dope resource in the Southern Indiana area. Feel free. It's just us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if anyone else wants to volunteer, the chat, just enter your name into the chat, or so I can call on you. And yeah, just like Kenny said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
I have a question if other folks don't. So this obviously my first interaction with the Carnegie Center. And I know that there's the art show that's coming up in the summer. But because this is unlike other libraries that I've interacted with. So what is I guess the mission or the vision for the Carnegie Center for this year? Because it's, it just seems like y'all are doing a lot more cultural programming. So I wanted to know if that's intentional or just who happens to work there for right now. You know what I mean? So I just want to hear a little bit more about the Carnegie Center and y'all's, I guess, motivation.
Yeah, absolutely. So Carnegie Center for Art and History is a branch of Floyd County Library. I do like that comment too, Delisha. It's a branch of the Floyd County Library. And so I just started in August. And so we just hired a few new museum educators. And our mission really is to reach everyone, a broader audience from all age ranges. We are trying to really create a safe space for everyone to be able to come in and learn about Lucy Higgs Nichols or the Underground Railroad or the current exhibition that we have of Penny Sisto, a local artist in the community, or the local artists that we have here rather than be in Louisville or Indiana. But we are trying to focus on Southern Indiana and really trying to reach, like I said, everyone. And that is trying to make all that information as accessible as possible. So even with this being on Zoom, you know, we have a small group here, but already we can see how impactful this was. I'm like, I have goosebumps. This is like really, really cool. And I'm so happy to see y'all in here. And so, yeah, it's great. It's really great.
If I can say something about Chantrice's question too, I think I hear what you're asking, Chantrice, and this is not an anomaly. They do this all the time. This is what this Carnegie Museum specializes in. So I agree with you. When I went to Carnegie, I was blown away. It's not like any other museum I've ever been to before. It's not like the Speed Museum here in Louisville or the Fraser History Museum here in Louisville. And they do specialize in Black voices. And so I've seen some really cool exhibits there. Like there's this exhibit you can walk through and you can hear a slave's voice talk about her journey on the Underground Railroad. And then one of the coolest exhibits I ever saw was when the whole museum was filled with these exhibits from tagging. So it was really cool because it showed, it kind of reminded me of like the Super Bowl, what just happened. What happened at the Super Bowl this year at halftime was art. And if you understand those artists' history and what they've been through and the message that they're saying, then you will understand that it was art and it was beautiful. But because a lot of people just look at rap music as not being art, they just shot it down and said it wasn't music at all, which we all know is not true. And there was some really beautiful things that people didn't realize, like Kendrick Lamar during his part of the performance. Those dancers actually made a visual artistry of the city of LA. A lot of people didn't like pick up on stuff like that. So it was beautiful. And so when I saw the tagging exhibit, which isn't there now, but it's at some museum, you know, these exhibits travel to different museums. But when I saw the tagging exhibit, I don't know, it just kind of gave me life and breathed life into me. Like, what we do is beautiful, and it showed the history of tagging, why people tag, all these examples of tagging. There were like actual little trains with like tagging on the trains, and so it was beautiful. I would go to the Carnegie History Museum a few times a year because they're always changing out their exhibits, and it's always something beautiful and educational. It is really. Somebody made the comment earlier, I think maybe Deletion said it was cool to hear Carnegie and dope in the same sentence. You're just not going to hear that about some museums. But yes, Carnegie and dope belong in the same sentence.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, and I will also say, I worked at the library, at the Carnegie Center for 18 years. So we've always done very cool things. We've always been very inclusive. We're a hidden jewel, to be honest with you. If you don't know about, a lot of people from Louisville don't want to come across the bridge.
Facts,
but you're
talk.
missing out on some serious good stuff. And to top it all off, we're free. I mean, when you go anywhere else, there's a fee to get in. But when you come to the Carnegie Center, we're free. And it's just, it's just a cool experience, hands down. So if you haven't been across the bridge to come see the Carnegie Center, coming in is a whole different experience than even the Zoom. I mean, of course, this is another way to reach people, but Carnegie is always doing cool things. I mean, it amazes me. And with the budget that we have for a small town of New Albany, Indiana, which people have never heard of probably, it's a hidden jewel. So not just because I used to work there for 18 years and just retired, but it's a cool place.
No, I mean, you absolutely laid down a lot of groundwork for us to be able to do, like, because I was really, for this African American reading held on Zoom, I was following the template of what Delisha hosted back in, what was that, 2019? 20, yeah. And so like there's still patrons that come in, they're like, I saw Alicia on the YouTube video talking about the Carnegie Center for Art and History as far as like the different sites to see. And so it's very much a hotspot for learning like local history that pertains to Black folks. And so like it's super vital.
Yes.
If I could add too, it's a really cool resource. This is my first time working with them, like, in January, but I've known about them for a while. And the thing is, Delisha hit the nail on the head. You kind of stole what I was going to say. Like, people really act scared to cross this bridge. And as somebody, like, I lived in New Albany from like 2006 to 14, 15. And like, but I got my start as an artist going to Louisville. So it's nothing literally to go across the bridge to Louisville and perform. So it's really nothing to go from Louisville to New Albany. Like, it's, you cross the bridge, first exit, you there, you know what I'm saying? So like, it's a really cool gym. I like Delisha and Deedee were saying, I'm excited to partner with them, and they're always doing cool stuff. They got something coming up in March. Was it the Mood Ring magazine, where they're taking submissions of art from high school students. So that's something that they got coming up. They've always got really cool exhibits, and I'm looking forward to going in person inside. Like, the work I did with them was mostly virtual or on the front steps, but whenever things get safer, I'm looking forward to going inside and taking in the space. But it's really cool. It really is a hidden gem, and you guys should definitely check it out if you haven't.
Well, thank y'all so much. Yeah, as Kenny was saying, we do have a art and literature zine that is going out for teens, and it's going to be, a lot of the process is going to be by teens as well. And so if you know any art and literature high school students in Southern Indiana, particularly Floyd, Clark, and Harrison County students, when we have been taking a few homeschool submissions as well. And we're just asking that they submit art and literature. There is a few rules, and you'll see that on the link on the event page. We have that there. We also have it under our public art tab. If their work gets into the first physical publication, they receive $50. It's really simple and easy. They just have to fill out a Google form so we can get to know a little bit about them. And that actually includes like a editing/layout workshop that we'll be having at Floyd County Library in the teen scene, which is hosted by Rachel Anger. And so it's super cool. It's a cool spot for teens. It's every Wednesday. And we, on March 31st, we will be having Penny Sisto's opening reception. She's currently showing in the galleries right now. That is also on that event page link. And as well as checking out Floyd County Library's website for their events. I have a link for that as well. They actually today, if anyone has time after like experiencing this wonderful event, they are showing the Great Debaters from 1 to 3:30 p.m. and there's no registration required. It's for all ages. And yeah, those are some exciting things that we have. We're gonna have much more, especially programming surrounding Penny Sisto. We have on March 3rd, even sooner, a healing workshop that is basically sensory filled workshop inspired by Penny Sisto's work. And that's going to be super exciting as well. We're going to have performances by Chelsea Markinson, Brakita Goodwin. It's going to be a really great time. So yeah. So I hope that y'all have a nice day. This was wonderful. Thank y'all so much. Please check out the links in the chat. And this will be recorded and possibly shared later as well. So thank you.
Awesome. This is a lot of fun. I'm really excited and geeked about it. So we'll see. We definitely gotta connect via social media. Just stay in tune. They got a lot of cool stuff coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right. Thanks for coming through, Daniel.
Hey, had I known about this sooner, I would have signed up even sooner. This is great, man.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. This is what I be doing in the lab. You know what I'm saying? In between checking out samples, I'm
Yeah.
writing on lunch breaks and writing or reciting on the lab floor, walking around.
I wish I had known about this so much sooner. This is awesome, dude.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right. I'll catch you next time, man.
All right. Catch you next time, bro.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. About to hop off here. Thanks again for the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me.
All right, for sure.